See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now.
I think about lots of things. Now, why don't we not stand here talking about them and get down to doing them?
To begin.
Clytus, I'm bored.
To begin.
What plaything can you offer me today?
How to start.
Welcome to The First Syllable, a show ostensibly about writing. I'm Professor Robert E. G. Black, and, well, today I'm taking you back to the 1990s. Because I was thinking about this after referencing House 2. Was it 2 episodes in a row? The last episode in particular, on how the virgin sacrifice scene by the Aztecs was the inspiration for the first novel I completed in 1996, The Man with Wolves in His Hands. I wanted to take the trope of virgin sacrifice and treat it like a real thing. Today I'm going to talk about 2 more times that happened in the 90s, which were the inspiration for my... Sorry, I'm trying to think of the order I wrote things. I wrote a handful of novels in the late 90s that will probably never see the light of day, because the writing's not that good, but the writing got better by the 2000s, where there's a few things I wrote later that I really, really like. Let's see, it went with The Man with the Holes in His Hands, Bridges, Razors, subtitle, or Into the Mouth of the River of Time. The 4th one was Demon Angel Catharsis. The 5th one was First Covenant. So, what I'm going to talk about first is the inspiration for Demon Angel Catharsis, particularly Demon Angel, which was going to be a series of books. My brain can't think singularly very easily when it comes to creative stuff. And the inspiration for First Covenant, which also was going to be a shorter series of books, and the 2 series tied together. Both inspirations came from the TV show Married with Children, particularly season 5. And it was reruns. I watched the show when it was on originally as well. Both these episodes would have aired in 1991. Season 5, episode 17 is from March 17th, 1991. Season 5, episode 23 is from April 28th, 1991. But probably the reruns I was watching were 96? 95? Actually, I wonder. Long pause here as I go search for the original Demon Angel drawing, which I think I have scanned. It might still have the date on it. Okay, the original Demon Angel sketch is dated May 24th, 1995. So yeah. So then I did a few drawings of Demon Angel and then eventually wrote the book. Demon Angel was a few years after the first book, but it was all tied together in a way. First up, the March 17th, 1991 episode of Married with Children entitled Oldies But Youngins. Plot summary, Al is haunted by a tune on the radio. Oh, it's this one. I love this episode. I hope I can find audio to put it in here, because he remembers, a few notes of a song, and he's obsessed.
Now listen, while you're here, let me ask you a question. See if you can name this song. Him.
He's haunted by a tune on the radio he can hum, but not name, and he gets no help from Peggy or the Darcys. Al similarly haunts Kelly's new boyfriend, Vinny Verducci, the son of his fellow lowlife friend Charlie Verducci, when Al warns Vinny to only look and not touch, which is not easy for Vinny. The thing that inspired the Demon Angel thing is a scene. This is the description from the Married with Children fandom.com. Vinny and Kelly are back at her house and reading the Garfield book, laughing at the ants carrying the lasagna, but she wants him to take charge and kiss her. He then begins to look at the angel and devil on his shoulder, both of them saying he should go for it.
Oh, grab her. You've got worse beatings for less. What are you looking at me for? If I wasn't so tiny, I'd be wild thinging her myself. You really think so? Go, 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 go.
He then takes the book and throws it, hitting Buck, before taking her down on the couch. But as they're about to start making out, Al comes down the staircase in his pajamas, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, Vinny, played by Matt LeBlanc, has little miniature versions of himself on his shoulders. An angel and a demon. Common trope. We'll get back to the trope in a moment. But that was the visual. The original sketch is just a guy with very unkempt hair. He's wearing pants, boots, no shirt, but like a long white coat. Almost like a doctor's coat, but I don't know what I was going for here. And there's little people crouched on his shoulders. I did lots of drawing of this guy. And then eventually used him to create a mythology where the idea was using angels and demons in their Christian versions primarily. But there was this idea that in order to keep a balance and keep the angels and demons from fucking with humans anymore, at some point in the relatively recent past, a deal was made where a single angel and a single demon would be allowed into the world, and they would be attached to the soul of a newborn child. No, I think they were technically attached before birth, which was part of the premise of the first book. It got fucked up because Nico wasn't supposed to be twins. So he doesn't get a healthy attachment to this angel and demon because he doesn't know they're there until his sister dies. When he is in his early 20s. But it was creating this mythology where every generation someone gets attached to this angel and demon. They are called the demon angel, and they are essentially tasked with stopping other angels and demons from manipulating things in the world. Simple premise. Tried to take it seriously. They didn't want to be too cartoonish. And that came from Married with Children. We'll get back to the trope in a little bit, because, well, you'll see why. Because this is a show about writing, not just writing fiction or coming up with ideas, but writing whatever. The next one, the April 28th, 1991 episode, Route 666, Part 1. Plot summary. While on their way to Los Angeles for a shoe convention, the Bundy's car breaks down in the small town of Lucifer, New Mexico, where they meet an old prospector, who looks like John Biner, who gives them a map to an old gold mine in the area in exchange for their car. They phone Marcy and Jefferson, who come to the rescue, having been duped into thinking that the kids are dying. But it turns out that Al and Peggy want their money for the mine deal. Then the sixth of them go off in search for the gold. In particular, from a transcript from foreverdreaming.org, but someone gives Al a little gold nugget.
My mistake. It was Jefferson, not Al.
It's real gold. I love it. I kiss it. I worship it. And if it'll do me the honor, I'll marry it.
This is the thing that stuck in my head, is he holds it up above him. And he says,
"Oh, gold, thou art my master. Command me!"
And I just had this image of someone holding this object and thinking this object is going to tell them what to do. And that got stuck in my head, and it became a piece of the plot of a book called First Covenant, which is about a bunch of children who have been abducted and forced to dig in some tunnels underneath the city of Carlton Falls, which is near Diamond Cove, which is where the other story was set. And they are looking for these sort of sticks that, when put together, form a portal to hell. So, really, all of these were very B-movie plot tropes, trying to take them seriously and put them into books. But the problem is my writing wasn't very good yet. But there's a moment where one of the kids, or maybe not the kids, maybe it's the first time the guy who kidnapped him. What was his name? Oh my god. I feel like it was Anthony something. Been a while. 30 years ago almost. But when they find the first stick, just feeling it, he can tell this is the right stick. They just found this thing buried. And he holds it up, and it's that same scene of command me, this object in his hand that he thinks can do that. So, 2 of my first 5 novels that I wrote were inspired by scenes from Married with Children. Now, the angel and devil thing, that's old. That's not Married with Children. Married with Children didn't make that up. So, later, started working on this at the end of November 2013, wrote the paper December 2013. It was published fall 2014 in, what is that journal called? It's a communication journal published by Cal State Los Angeles. What I'm about to read, is the opening couple of pages from an earlier draft of the paper. I had to shorten it, especially when it was going to get published, because it had to be a certain length. In The Simpsons episode, The Frying Game, Swartzwelder and Pacino, 2002, May 19th, Homer accidentally kills the endangered screamopeller living in his backyard, and many an episode of The Simpsons, Gene et al., 1989 to present, we see Homer Simpson trying to make a decision, and out of thin air pops a small devil on one shoulder, a small angel on the other. They try to influence his choice, for bad, to hide the body, and for good, not, respectively.
Oh no! I crushed that horrible bug! What should I do?
A small devil version of Homer appears on his left shoulder to tell him,
Bury it quickly before anyone finds out.
Homer's shoulder angel appears on his right shoulder,
I'm gonna tell. The hell you will!
and he proceeds to launch his trident into the shoulder angel's chest.
Now we're in it together. There's no going back. Yeah!
This isn't the simplest version of the shoulder angel and shoulder devil gag, but it does convey the usual conflict that goes on. A tiny devil pops up to influence you toward good. That's backward. A tiny angel pops up to influence... How did I get both of them backward? To be fair, for Homer, they are not always an angel and a devil. In the episode We're on the Road to Nowhere, Kieran and Cruz, 2006, January 29, Homer instead has strict Homer, who looks like a futuristic police officer, and fun Homer, who looks more like a clown. Still, these are smaller versions of Homer, not just abstract representations of angels and devils and police officers and clowns. Each one, rather, is a miniature simulacrum of the character in question, aspects of self that serve to direct our actions within moralistic bounds. The shoulder angel and shoulder devil are not exclusive visuals to The Simpsons. In the Looney Tunes short Daffy Duck Hunt, Seltzer and McKimson, 1949, March 26, for example, Barnyard Dog must weigh whether or not to free Daffy Duck from his master's freezer. A small devil version of Dog pops up on his snout rather than his shoulder, telling him,
Atta boy, Jack. You tricked that duck good. Now you're all set with your master. What's a duck, more or less?
Then the angel version shows up.
Don't leave that poor duck in there. He's your friend. He helped you when you needed help. You could at least let him get warmed up a little.
Devil Dog jumps in again.
Don't pay no never-minds to that sissy talk. Let him freeze.
Angel Dog, because this is being played for laughs, of course, responds,
Shut up!
and proceeds to shove his keyring down around Devil Dog. In Scaredy Cat, Seltzer and Jones, 1948, December 18, Sylvester the Cat has only an angel version of himself show up, reminding him of how Porky Pig feeds him, and mice are smaller than he is, so he should go save his master from the murderous mice. Nor is this an exclusive visual to animation. Live-action television shows have used the shoulder angel and shoulder devil for a quick laugh as well. For example, Married with Children gave Kelly Bundy's boyfriend Vinny his own version of this modern Freudian trio in the episode Oldies But Youngins. Levitt et al., 1991, March 17. But both his angel and his devil tell him to go for it. The sitcom Herman's Head, Babcock et al., 1991 and 1994, complicated this further, giving the protagonist Herman Brooks not simply an angel and devil, but four separate aspects of his psyche that viewers got to see compete for control over Herman's actions. In the opening sequence, they introduced themselves.
I'm Herman's intellect. Without me, he couldn't hold his job, pay his rent, or tie his shoes.
I'm Herman's sensitivity. Without me, he wouldn't feel tenderness, honesty, or love. The good things in life.
I'm Herman's anxiety, and I keep him out of trouble. And believe me, there's trouble everywhere.
I'm Herman's lust. Without me, he'd miss out on all the good stuff. You know, fun, food, babes.
Sometimes they agree. Usually they don't. But this struggle is going on inside all of us.
Guerdat et al., 1991, September 8th. I won't keep reading because the paper's 24 pages long, but essentially I tie these modern interpretations, and you could go with more recently, Inside Out, or Inside Out 2, as updates on the divided soul metaphor from Plato's Phaedrus, which is a chariot with a black horse and a white horse. White horse is pulling you up, black horse is pulling you down, and your job is to keep it in the middle. I'll read you the abstract, because it's just a paragraph. This paper connects the charioteer myth from Plato's Phaedrus to the modern trope of the shoulder angel and shoulder devil by first exploring the meaning behind Plato's rhetorical use of the divided soul, then comparing that to other uses, using the Katha Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Book of Ezekiel, Cherokee legend, tarot cards, Freudian psychology, and modern sitcoms. This paper answers the question, why do we keep reinventing the chariot? That is to say, why do we keep finding new rhetorical ways to represent the struggle within ourselves? We keep coming back to Plato without realizing that we are still trying to represent the same decision-making process he was more than 2 millennia ago. This paper argues ultimately that the recurrence of the divided soul in our rhetoric may just be a way of policing our moral choices, subjecting ourselves to Foucaultian binary branding, and our own personal panopticon. The title of the paper, and why I started with The Simpsons and not the Looney Tunes, which was much earlier, From Plato to Homer, From Charioteer Myth to Shoulder Angel, a rhetorical look at our divided soul. Published version didn't have the From Plato to Homer part. So once again, I'm tying, pop culture things I'm watching to things I'm writing. Demon Angel Catharsis was a few hundred pages. First Covenant was a few hundred pages. Man with Holes in the End was a few hundred pages, so like 3 good-sized books coming from movies and TV. And then eventually when I was in grad school, one of my published papers ties back to the same stuff. Because ideas come from wherever, It's like now my notes file on my phone, I will scribble bits and pieces in different notes just when they occur to me, whether they're inspired by something I'm watching or something I hear or just something that comes to me while I'm out driving to work or something. And that's a useful tool for a writer. Just write stuff down. Notes file makes it easy because I have them divided. I have a note for Chase 2 Rabbits. I have a note for Basara, a note for Fish Out of Water, a note for The Man with the Holes in His Hands, the potential rewrite. And then when I think of something that I figure out which story I can fit in and put it in there. Or a new story idea gets its own note. And when there's enough notes on something in particular, that's the next thing I'm going to write. Last year that was Four Finger Discount that I wrote in December and January. This year that was Death, 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 which I wrote in March and April. I think the next thing I'm going to write is Chase 2 Rabbits. Probably. I still haven't sat down and put the plot beats in order, figure out the bullet points list of what's going to happen. But as soon as I have that, I think I'm ready to start. Because as I said, I think it was last episode, I know what the opening sentence is. I know what the opening scene is. I don't exactly know where it ends. Because I know while the story ties to larger conspiracies going on in the city of Eadith, the larger story does not stop those. It's closer to Chinatown, where at the end of the story, he loses. So I gotta create a situation where Leah Vare is searching after these 2 sisters, with the names Frankie and Beatty, and comes to care for one or both of them, but can't save them from whatever other stuff is going on, I think is how it's gonna go. And as soon as I have that sorted out, that'll be the next thing I'm writing. I also still need to work on the second proper draft of Death, Death, Death. We'll see.
Cut. Perfect. I should get coffee. Coffee would help me think. But I should write something first, then reward myself with coffee. Coffee and a muffin.
You're still here?
Okay, so I need to establish the themes.
It's over.
Green Door by Jim Lowe.
With the and a knife.
Wolverton Mountain, Claude King, aisle 3.
Flown!
Yeah. Any day now, Chuck Jackson, aisle 4.
Peg, this guy's a genius. We're home.
Go with him.
Never heard of it.
Next. What a surprise. Thank you. Not even this, huh? What is it? Is Oprah right? Are you a big fat woman? All I wanted was a 45, a stinking 45. The record of the gun. I'll even settle for the damn malt liquor. Just this once, can you show that you can love even Al Bundy? That's it! That's my song! Thank you. I'll be back for only one more request. It involves a thunderbolt and That's my song! That's Anna on the jukebox! I want it! How much is it?
Well, since you're a good customer and obviously a ranting, raving loon, you can have it for $60.
$60 for a record? Hey, look. You must look at my husband and mistake crazy for stupid. He is not paying you $60 for a record. And if he does, I will kiss your...
Peg, this is the best $60 I ever spent. Except for the day before the day I met you, this is the happiest day of my life. Peg, I'm going to play this record over and over again until my ears bleed. Honey, where's my record player?
With all your stuff. In a box in the corner of the basement.
Honey, come with me while I get it. I want you to share my joy. After you, my love.
Well, at least you're acting like a gentleman. Just not sure why.
Thank you, honey. I couldn't remember which step was loose.
Go home.
Maybe banana nut. That's a good muffin.
Go.